Governor Greg Abbott continues to tout his migrant busing initiative. Now we're learning more about how much it costs the state. Since it started, Texas has paid more than $120 million to send migrants on buses to D.C., New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Denver. Our Capitol correspondent Madden got hold of the payment records and breaks down the numbers.
Nearly 2 years of busing migrants out of state has cost Texas more than $124 million. As of January 10th, Texas has bussed out more than 100,000 migrants, equating to about a $1,200 ticket per migrant. Sanctuary cities that have received migrants from Texas have said it's more than they can manage.
Looking for direction, but also wanting to find ways in which we can better coordinate as an entire region how to deal with this migrant crisis, which is obviously an international crisis that requires federal intervention.
Last month, New York City even sued the bus companies working with Texas.
But we cannot bear the cost of reckless political ploys from the state of Texas alone. We are suing to recoup approximately $700 million already spent to care for migrants bused here in the last 2 years by the state of Texas.
The governor defends the practice as a measure to ease the burden on Texas.
What you are seeing and witnessing in the state is a tiny fraction of what is happening every single day in the state of Texas.
Monica joins us now. We've had a lot of people reach out to us about this story, and the most common question is how the cost to bus migrants compares to the cost to keep them in Texas. What do we know about those comparisons?
Josh, it's been something we've been digging into and have struggled to find an answer for. So this is going to be part of our ongoing coverage of this story. The difficulties that I ran into is there's not any entity or person who knows exactly what the cost is, to have these undocumented migrants in the country. It all sort of depends. Where are they going? Are they being taken care of by NGOs? Is it the federal government's responsibility? Is it Texas? It's a very nuanced topic. But just for comparison, obviously the city of New York has bared a brunt of this issue from the migrants that have been going to the city, not just on buses by Texas, but also from those nonprofits in the federal government. And we know the city of New York is suing these busing companies that are involved in the Texas transportation, wind transportation specifically, and they're asking for some $700 million in damages. The city says that's how much it has cost for them to house the migrants and take care of them. So that's a rough comparison, but again, it's hard to exactly determine cost per migrant exactly.
Certainly, and we do know the busing cost is a lot more than people expected, roughly $1,200 per migrant. What's the main factor for that expense and where's the money going?
I'm still waiting for more records from the state to give us a better idea of the breakdown of the invoices, but for perspective, I did request the same information back in September of 2022, right after this program started, and I did get a full invoice of a breakdown from Wind Transportation, which is one of the leading companies involved in this initiative. And the biggest cost here, Josh, it wasn't for the bus drivers, it wasn't for the gas, but it was actually for security. And at the time, a spokesperson with the Texas Division of Emergency Management, which has been handling all of this, said that they felt as though security was a necessary cost to pay for, given that the migrants and the people involved from the state in this could easily be targets by someone with bad intentions.
All right, well, when this program was first announced, Governor Abbott launched a donation portal to fundraise for the buses. How is that fundraising going?
Well, initially when he started it, it had a pretty big boost. About $300,000 was raised, and that's what we reported back in 2022. Since then, it hasn't generated much more revenue, Josh. At the last check, it was last updated, the website, in December of 2023, and it had raised about $460,000 for this busing initiative. So taxpayers have been paying for about 99.6% of all of the busing costs.
All right, well, we know you will stay on top of this story. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you.
A high school football player allergic to peanuts says his teammates intentionally put peanuts in his locker. His mother says the punishment surprised her.
Just absolute disappointment. my heart kind of sank at that point.
Why the school district said this is not bullying and what our investigators uncovered about state oversight in cases like this. Texas lawmakers made big changes in response to fears of voter fraud. How the new laws could affect you when you go to vote.